Chapter 6: Polarity and Creation. As ancient observers studied the world more closely, they came to recognize a fundamental principle underlying all existence: polarity. Everything appeared to emerge through contrast. Light was known through darkness. Movement was defined by stillness. Life unfolded through the interaction of opposing forces. Polarity was not understood as conflict. It was understood as relationship. Creation, in ancient thought, did not arise from a single force acting alone. It emerged through the interaction of complementary opposites. Without polarity, there could be no motion, no growth, and no transformation. The sky itself demonstrated this principle. Day followed night. Summer gave way to winter. The sun and moon alternated in influence. These opposites were not random. They were structured, rhythmic, and necessary. Polarity was first recognized through observation, not philosophy. Early cultures noticed that balance did not mean sameness. Balance required difference. Two opposing forces created tension, and tension produced movement. Movement made life possible. This understanding shaped early symbolic systems. Male and female principles became central expressions of polarity. These were not limited to biological sex, but represented universal forces. The masculine principle was associated with projection, action, and outward movement. The feminine principle was associated with reception, containment, and inward flow. Neither principle was superior. Creation required both. In visual symbolism, these principles appeared through simple forms. The vertical line represented ascent, activity, and expansion. The horizontal line represented grounding, rest, and stability. When these two lines crossed, they formed a symbol of intersection, where heaven met earth. This crossing point symbolized creation itself. Triangles were also used to express polarity. An upward-pointing triangle symbolized fire, ascent, and masculine energy. A downward-pointing triangle symbolized water, descent, and feminine energy. When combined, they formed a six-pointed figure, expressing harmony through union. Ancient diagrams often showed this union at the center of creation. Balance was not achieved by eliminating opposites, but by integrating them. Polarity was also observed in natural forces. Expansion and contraction governed breath. Growth and decay shaped agriculture. Birth and death marked the human experience. These cycles reinforced the understanding that polarity was the engine of transformation. In myths, polarity appeared through paired figures: gods and goddesses, heroes and shadows, creators and destroyers. These stories did not present one side as evil and the other as good. Instead, they described necessary roles within a larger process. Storm gods brought destruction, but also renewal. Death deities governed endings that made rebirth possible. Creation myths often began with separation: sky from earth, light from darkness, followed by the interaction that produced life. Sexual symbolism emerged directly from this understanding. Sex was not viewed merely as reproduction. It was recognized as the visible expression of cosmic polarity. Through sexual union, two distinct forces combined to create new life. This act mirrored the larger creative process observed throughout nature. Because of this, sexuality was considered sacred. It was not hidden or shamed in early symbolic systems. Instead, it was ritualized, honored, and integrated into myth and ceremony as a reflection of universal creation. Polarity also shaped moral and philosophical thought. Early traditions did not divide the world into absolute good and evil. Instead, they emphasized harmony, imbalance, and restoration. Excess in either direction led to disorder. Wisdom lay in maintaining equilibrium. Over time, this symbolic understanding began to shift. Polarity was reinterpreted as opposition rather than relationship. One side became dominant, the other suppressed. Balance gave way to hierarchy. Harmony was replaced by control. This shift deeply affected cultural attitudes toward nature, sexuality, and spirituality. Yet the original principle remains visible. Polarity continues to govern physical laws, biological systems, and psychological processes. Modern science describes these dynamics through energy, charge, expansion, and entropy. Psychology recognizes them through conscious and unconscious forces. The ancient insight was not wrong. It was incomplete only in its expression. This chapter reveals that creation is not a singular act, but an ongoing process driven by interaction. Life emerges not from uniformity, but from difference held in balance. Polarity is not a problem to be solved. It is a principle to be understood. In recognizing polarity as sacred, early civilizations acknowledged that creation itself depends on relationship. From stars to seasons, from breath to birth, existence unfolds through the dance of opposites. And it is within that dance that life continues.